Hello and welcome to Baking on a Budget. Now in this video we are going to be making these delicious English muffins or breakfast muffins. Very simple recipe. This is a no-knead recipe to make the dough, and then these are indeed baked on the hob in a frying pan, and I'll show you how all of this happens as we go through the video. Now I have everything we'll need to make them over here. I'm going to run through, tell you exactly what we've got, what the quantities are and how much all of this will cost. To begin with, we have 350 grams of strong bread flour, and that is 24 pence. We have 1 teaspoon of dried yeast, which is 8 pence. We have a pinch of salt, which we cannot really cost. We have 15 grams of sugar, which is 2 pence. We have 15 grams of softened butter, which is 11 pence. We have 1 egg at 14 pence, and we have 190 ml of whole milk at 12 pence. The whole recipe cost is 71 pence, and we're going to get 8 muffins out of that. 8 beautiful, delicious English muffins, making each muffin 8 pence each. The thing we want to do is bloom the yeast, just to make sure it's good. So here we have the 190 ml of whole milk, and I've heated that up to where it is just lukewarm. That can go in the jug. Then we have 15 grams of sugar, which can go in also, and along with that we just want 1 teaspoon of this yeast, which is not the full packet. We'll keep the rest of it, and if we do another bunch of these later in the week, we'll use it for that. Right, with that done, we just want to mix all that together, make sure it's all nicely combined. Very good. Now we just want to cover it and leave it somewhere for about 10 minutes, and it should froth on the top, and that will tell us that our yeast is active. Okay, so to put this dough together, first thing we want 350 grams of strong bread flour, and to that a decent pinch of salt. Now we just want to bring that together, combine the two. Very good, and we can make a well in the middle of that. Now we have the egg. I'll just break that and beat it a little in this glass. And we have a yeast mix which is beginning to froth on the top. And what we want to do is just add all of this, all of the wet ingredients to the bowl. Here I have the butter which I've melted. That'll just make that easier to mix in there. And the egg as well. Now, we want to combine all this with a spoon, or you can use a mixer. If you have a standard mixer, you could do it in that. But I'm just going to combine it like this, make sure that we get all of the wet ingredients mixed with the dry, so we have no dry bits left in the bowl. And this really does only take a moment or two. And this would be quite a wet dough, right, to begin with. So we'll just get all of that combined there. That's looking good. But you see, that is quite sort of wet and sticky, and that's okay. That's what we're looking for. Right, that's almost together there. What I'm going to do now is just get a little bit of flour on my hands. Right, as I say, a little bit of flour on the hands, and we just want to work that a little bit in the bowl. As I say, I'm not going to knead this. I'm simply going to get all of this dry ingredients and wet ingredients combined. And once that's done like that, we are simply going to cover this and put it in a warm place for about 45 minutes. I'm going to cover that with a towel. And since it's cold in the kitchen today, I've got the hob on a little bit, so I'm just going to stick that next to the hob. I'll leave it there for 45 minutes, and then we'll come back and see what's going on with it. Okay, and 45 minutes later, the dough has doubled in size. So just set that aside, get a little bit of flour on the board. Now we want to turn this out onto the board, and we simply want to knock the air out of it. Again, this isn't really what you would call a kneading, but we just want to get any built-up gases or air out of there. That is still quite sticky, but it's going to be just fine. Now give me a second, I need to wash the bowl. The bowl cleaned. I'm going to stick a little bit of oil in the bottom of there, just a drizzle. That will do it. And I'll coat the bowl with that oil. And then we want to take our dough just smooth it out a bit, round it in on itself at the bottom. That will do it. Now that's going back into the bowl. It's going to have a second proving for another 45 minutes. And during that 45 minutes, I think I'll make a ginger cake. Okay, and another 45 minutes later, that dough has definitely doubled in size. Very happy with that. What I'm going to do is put a little bit of flour on this board, because I assume this still will be a bit sticky, but that's all right. And we just want to get that out onto the board like so. Very good. Now, again, knock the air out of that a little bit. Get a little bit of flour on top. And essentially, we want to roll this out to about ½ an inch thick. So just one other thing before we start cutting these, we've got a baking tray to put them on, and here I have some cornstarch, and I'm just going to sprinkle a little bit of that on the bottom of this tray. That's it there. I'll do the same on this because we'll probably need both of the trays. Very good. Now I've got a 3-inch cutter here, and I'm just going to cut that dough like so. We'll see how many we get out of this bit, and then we may have to reconstitute it for the rest of them. There's 2. Oh, not quite going to get that one. Right. So very carefully we want to pick these up and just get them on our tray. Then we can put our dough back together. That will do it there. A little bit more flour on that. Still a little bit of stickiness to it, but that's okay. And again, we want to roll that out to about ½ an inch. Okay, there's another one there. Oh, I'm just going to push that over a touch because we will get another one there. If we do that, that will do it. Alright, that's 6. And we should get another 2 out of what's left. So, they're on the tray. Now, what we're going to do is get the sieve again and some more of this cornstarch and just give them the same thing on the top. So, yet again, these need to be set aside for about another 30 minutes, and then it all comes together at the end, folks. So, 30 minutes, I'll be back. Okay, now these have had another ½ hour. Looking just as they should. Very good indeed. Now, I'm going to put this gas on here, and I want it fairly low. These are over a fairly low heat. About there. Not quite as low as it'll go, but not much more. I'm going to put that pan on and let that heat up, and I'll come back as soon as it's hot enough. Okay, the pan is ready. The muffins are ready. And we'll put the first one in. Just want to gently get it off there and put it on there. And another. Thank you. Isla's watching as we do this, and hopefully she'll be enjoying. Yes, I understand. Hopefully you will be enjoying one of these muffins with me in a very short while. Right, I can just about get 4 of them in there. I know you like a muffin, Isla, I know you do. So, I'm going to leave these for about 4 to 5 minutes, then I'll come back, flip them over, show you how they're looking. Right, now I've flipped that one, and that's looking good. I did that one earlier, but it hadn't quite had long enough. So, these have had now about 6 minutes, and they are looking absolutely beautiful. So, the deal is, flip them over, give them another 6 minutes. Whilst they're still a little warm, I'll just cut into one and we'll get some butter on and we will enjoy that, won't we, Isla? Okay folks, look at these. They are beautifully done on both sides. As I say, the pan isn't on really hot, so they are warm, but they're not scorching hot, you know, so look at them. Right, tell you what, these are going out onto a cooling rack and those are going in the pan. Again, I'm going to leave these about 7 minutes. I think they took about 7 minutes aside. So, it just depends the temperature of your pan. Yes, the temperature of the pan. Yeah. So I'm going to leave them, and when they are done we'll come back and then we are going to taste some. Okay, now look at this. Look at that muffin. That is fantastic. English breakfast muffin. Absolutely delicious. Look at the texture inside of that. Marvellous. And I've got some butter on the side here. So I'm going to put some butter on a piece of it. And these are still a little warm from the oven. So that butter is going to melt right into there. That's a beautiful soft muffin. These would be absolutely delicious in the morning for breakfast with a fried egg or something like that on top. Marvellous. Look at this texture. Look at the, let me show you the crumb, as they say. If we tear that open. That is superb. So simple. And absolutely delicious. What better way to start the day? So there it is, English muffins, or breakfast muffins. That whole recipe, 71 pence. Each of these muffins cost me 8 pence, and that is one of the best muffins I've ever tasted. Streets ahead of the shop bought muffins, and less than half the price. As I say, with any bread recipe, it's a time thing. You've got to let these prove, and because it's a no-knead recipe, they've got to have their 2 fairly long provings, and then it's got to rest for about half an hour. Always best to make this sort of thing as part of a baking day. I managed to make a beautiful ginger cake whilst this was doing its second proving. Plan the day a little, make the dough early, then there's plenty of time for it to prove whilst you're doing other things. So once again, I thank you very much for watching. If you've enjoyed the video, do give it a thumbs up, and if you would like to see more very simple, straightforward, delicious and very inexpensive recipes like this in the future, do consider subscribing to the channel. In the meantime, I'm going to finish this muffin, and I might have another one too.